this afternoon with Steve Sammartino, who you've met already. He runs rentoy.com. It's a place you can rent anything, and I know lots of people in our world do use it and think it's fun and it's great, and it's a way of putting your goods that you don't want to let go of right now to good use. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Look, we've spoken about Rentoy in the past, but that's not the only thing you do. You are an avid blogger, and but you're also really generous by nature, because when you started Rentoy, and this is something, you know, most entrepreneurs keep their idea tight, and they have to, because often there are sharks swimming in the waters around you. But you started startupblog.com as a way of sharing your experiences about what was going on for you. What on earth made you do that?
It was funny because I started to get into the web world, and I thought everyone was talking about blogging. This was kind of, I actually blogged a little bit before Rentoy, when I knew it was when I left the company, the large company, and I thought, well, I'll just share the journey. And at first it was called like Startup Blog and Entrepreneur's Journey, and it was really like a diary of what was happening this day, and meeting with venture capitalists, and I had another business idea before Rentoy, and I was really transparent because I'd read about this. I'd read this amazing book called The Clue Train Manifesto.
Yes,
which I love. It's gold.
That is gold.
Read this book, The Clue Train Manifesto. It's like nearly 10 years old, but it's as poignant and important today as it was then. And so the whole thing was about transparency. I said, if I'm going to go into this world, and the thing I hated about big companies was the lies that they told, I'm going to live it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be this bullshit guy. I'm going to be the guy who lives and breathes and says he does what he does do. So I thought, I'm going to be transparent, and I just thought I'll start the blog, and I just started enjoying it so much that I just continued on with it. And then it was funny because at the end of the day, when you sit down and reflect on what happened and what you thought, it actually becomes a really important process for decomposing all of the things and what you need to do and what matters and what doesn't. So yeah, I just thought, be honest, and I still to this day, I even spoke recently on the blog about a whole model change that I'm thinking of doing, and yeah, my competitors can probably see that, so what?
What I really love about, I mean, and you're right, your competitors can see what you're doing, you're living it out loud.
Yeah.
But what we forget as startup people, and people, in our case we've sold a business, is that if you don't share your story, all those people coming behind who really are hardwired to be entrepreneurs don't get the learning.
Yeah.
And you got that straight away. Hats off to you. You decided to share it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what was the one thing in the early days, a story that you shared that no one else would have done in the same situation as you, but you did it because it was honest and the right thing to do?
I think just sharing how I come up with ideas and what I'm about to do next. That's one of the things I do. A lot of people talk about what happened. I actually don't mind talking about what I'm about to do, because then people come on a story. It's like they're at a movie, right? If you look at a blog entry that someone's done about what happened, they're saying, oh, this is a historical reference. When you say, this is what I'm thinking of doing in this live business, I'll let you know how it goes. They're on their edge of their seat and they want to read about it. Yeah, what's going to happen? So that's the thing that I try and do that is that risky thing, is I will talk about what we're about to do before we do it. And I kind of also say this is a sneak preview, and I always say ridiculous things on there like, shh, here's a secret, don't tell anyone, knowing the world's reading it. And I tell everyone, and that's okay. But you know why I do it as well? Ideas are the cheap, easy part. You get feedback, that's true, but also, execution's the hard bit. That's the hard bit, not the idea. So, transparency of people stealing your ideas and your secrets is not that important, but so why not just open up and say, we're thinking of doing this? You can avoid a catastrophe as well, and people can iterate and say, yeah, that'd be really cool if you did this as well. You need to have the semblance of mind to know which things to take on as advice and which things not to, and that's your prerogative as the entrepreneur.
In fact, that's really I found that really difficult in the Arts Hub days, because we sort of rode the tail end of the dot-com boom. And through the bust, and there were a lot of advisors and VC people who really just wanted to shit can entrepreneurs because they'd lost a bunch of money. So the next lot, us, self-funded, who came along, seemed to clobber their backlash against those they'd lost money on. And I think we learned to be really quiet and just to suppress our ideas. And that's why I really think, it's such a refreshing change where, You don't? You let the cat out of the bag and people can have their say.
It's because I'm lonely. It's because I'm there by myself just chipping away with the small team that we've got. I'm like, I'll just put this on the blog and see what people think. And and it's kind of cool, you think, because, you know, my office and my community and the people on my Twitter feed, they're my people. They're my confidants. They're the people whose opinions I really value. So I put it out there, so I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think, guys, on Twitter or on Startup Blog or whatever? And I get the feedback, and it's, it's like that's my water cooler. These digital forums are my water cooler, and at the water cooler, you don't hide stuff and tell lies. You talk about the issues of what you're thinking of doing and what the challenges are in your career. So now I've just got a digital water cooler, and that's kind of the way I view it.
It is very real, isn't it? That social interaction. Being a crazy introvert or a very, very high level introvert, I really have been so much more comfortable with the online world since I left corporate. But you're not, are you? You're an extrovert.
People say I'm an extrovert. I actually...
But maybe you're not. Maybe you're the amiable introvert.
It's funny because I find in a big group of people, like if I go to some of the social events like the Hive or the Churchill Club, I don't go around talking to a lot of people and networking. I tend to talk to one person. I tend to talk to one person and try and have something that's in-depth and an in-depth conversation. And the way that I do that is by trying to ask about and learn about the other person, because that's really where you learn, and that's the interesting stuff in life, is the other people that you meet, like we met, at the Churchill Club, which was really cool. And so I miss the social interaction, because entrepreneurship's really lonely. It's a lonely sport, and people don't understand.
It's really lonely.
You've got to learn to deal with that. And I go out to the local cafes with my laptop and do a bit of work there, which looks a bit wanky with the apple and the little show. But I do it because I just need people around me. I need some of that movement and colour and warmth but yeah.
Where do you write your best blogs? Is that at home, or is it in the cafe, or is it on holiday, or is it under pressure?
It's always, I write my best blog entries always at home, but here's what happens, the ideas come out to me when I'm out on the road. The best ideas always happen after a meeting, after a discussion, or while I'm reading the newspaper or whatever. But you know what I do? I do two things, and I'm going to grab it here. I've got my little Steve Sammartino folder, and when I have an idea, I just write blog entry on this. And when I just write that little sentence, it means something to me, and then I get home and I go, oh, that was what happened today, and I write the blog entry about it. But those few, I'll just do a couple of bullet points, because you've got to write things down to remember them later, otherwise you forget it. So that's why pen and paper were invented, because your mind's not a filing cabinet. So just get it out of your brain so you can remember it later. So I do that, and then when I get home at night, I usually do blog entries either really early in the morning or really late at night. So it's usually, I wake up in the morning, I've got a good thought, or late at night at the end of the day when I'm watching TV, I'll just kind of, I don't even realise it. People say, how do you blog so much? Because I do an entry every day religiously. I've done that for more than 3 years. And I say, for me, it's like people watching Sail a Century or whatever TV show they like. It's not even work. It's like a pleasure. I just love it so much. I don't even realise it. And then all of a sudden I've got, I don't know, over 1,000 entries. If anyone wants to have a blog that's successful, mine gets about 30,000 readers a month, so it's quite good. And it's if you type startup blog into Google, it's #1 all around the world. And I've tested it whichever country I'm in, because I know that it's got geolocating. So the one piece of advice, I do one little trick that makes me make sure that I'm on topic. I make sure it either has the word entrepreneur or startup in every single entry. It's in every single entry. You go back to my blog and have a look. And if one's not in there, I'll have to slap myself. But pretty much every entry has one of those two words in there. And what that does is it ensures that I'm on topic. So sometimes it might be about something you wouldn't think is related to entrepreneurship, something that I see that's interesting. But what I'll try and do is withdraw the entrepreneurial insight or the startup insight from that idea or that thing I've been exposed to or thought about. So that's what I do to keep it on topic. And then that helps. It makes people come back, because if they're interested in a topic, they're going to come back to that topic every time. So that's what I do to keep them interested in that thing. And frequency. People want to, it's kind of like, you get your toast or your cup of coffee, I'll read my 5 favourite blogs, boom, boom, boom.
Absolutely.
And if you're not there, he hasn't posted lately, I'll go to the next one.
Really
so they're the two simple things I do.
Thank you for your time today, Steve.
Thank you.